big network, a big network of international, multinational offices. We are present in almost all countries in Europe, 43 countries, also outside Europe on another continents. There are hubs doing similar job to EURAXESS job. And the main goal, the main mission is to help researchers with providing correct information about mobility aspect of their research, crossing borders, finding jobs, progressing with their careers in Ireland, in various countries. So we are focused on information. Every country has a different aspect. In different countries, you can find EURAXESS offices specializing slightly in different things. In Ireland, our role is very much related to immigration aspect, because Ireland is a very welcoming country. We have a lot of people coming here to study, to do PhD masters, and people who want to stay here to progress with their careers and with their life. So the purpose of our meeting today is to give you an idea what we are doing and what we can do for you. So I now give the floor to Ongoli, who will present to you our services and our website, and then I will take over to talk to you a little bit about immigration aspect of our role here in Ireland. Thank you. Ongoli, the floor is yours.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, from wherever you're joining from in the world. I will be trying to be, I don't know if Magda, you'll help me to admit people. I'll make you host.
Yes, I'm very happy to manage whatever I can.
Yeah, so that you can admit the people, because there's a little bit number of people who are joining in.
Yes, people are coming here still. We cannot stay forever online, but whoever we can admit, we'll be very happy to welcome. Yes.
Okay, so there you go. So the first thing is, I would like to give you a little bit of background of this event. Sometimes in the start of the year, we had an in-person event, and it was a great event. And some of you did not get a chance to come to the event because it was an in-person event. And we had a Mentimeter. We ran a Mentimeter, and in the Mentimeter, we were just asking, what can we do, like in terms of future events? And I will try to, you let me know if you can see. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
I definitely can see it, so hopefully.
Okay, fine. So I'll just do a quick read through of what came out of that. So the question that we asked is, how can EURAXESS Ireland help you better? Like helping you in terms of the researchers who are there, the early careers researcher, because we had a similar event, but it was in person in Dublin. So the things came up like more engagement and interactions, conduct information sessions for the higher education institutes. Then there's this one, perhaps hosting a meeting like this in a form of a webinar about hosting agreement for the people from non-EU countries, for the researchers who consider moving to Ireland, but they're not sure yet. There was something about the newsletter. It's an amazing event. We love more events to help create network for researchers, some information on the medical insurance system and Irish culture. This workshop was very helpful. Thank you. I would like updates and newsletters about the future events from EURAXESS. Then, so there was an appetite for more kind of events, and we understand that as much as we are trying to have in-person events, sometimes it's normally very important to have this online event. So we give everybody an opportunity. We give everybody a chance to actually be able to attend. So the first thing is, I would like to start by just knowing like who is in the room. So I'll run another Menti, so that we know who is in the room, so that we know when we are giving our presentation, like what exactly can we focus on, like, you know. So if you can go to www.menti.com, can you see it on your screen? Magda, can you confirm for me?
I can see, yes.
Okay, go to www.menti.com on your phone or on your computer. Then use the code 73984436. just quickly, as you open that, I don't know if you managed to open. Yes, yeah. So we just want to know, like, who is in the room in terms of, are you a PhD? Are you a postdoc? Are you a researcher in industry, in academia, MSc? Then probably you can you can say if you are you can say the country where you come from, so that we can see the where on the map are we reaching out to the people that we are reaching out to, so that we see we tailor-made the discussion. We might be talking about visas and all that, but there are some countries that we understand they don't require a visa to come to Ireland and even just live and work in Ireland. So I can see there's a lot of PhD and a research assistant. We have somebody in PhD in social sciences from Switzerland. We have a postdoc at UCC from India. We have another research assistant from Bangladesh. We have a PhD that is in Nigeria, M&D, assume monitoring and evaluation, a PhD from Kenya. Yeah, so as the responses continue, you can just continue putting in your responses. We have PhD in machine learning from Kenya. That's new. I'm also from Kenya, by the way. For those of us who don't know, my name might not sound Kenyan, but I'm from Kenya. Okay, so as those responses continue flowing in, I would like to give you a very brief presentation of what Dr. Magdalena Wisloka has talked about EURAXESS and what EURAXESS is. So I want to set clear that our offices are actually allocated at Marion Square, 48 Marion Square, that is hosted by the Irish Universities Association. And our services, the services from the bigger network within Europe, that is EURAXESS.Europa, if you check. So our services target both employees and employers, that is researchers and your employers. And we target both in academia and industry across all disciplines. But I understand that most people who are joining here, they are within academia. They're either doing a PhD or they are postdoc. So they will have, if you are on a hosting agreement, you have benefited that through the agreement through academia, but we know a lot of people in industry that we are also serving. So exactly what do? We are the ones who maintain the portal with up-to-date research, funding, and jobs. That is www.euraxess.ie. That is the Irish portal, because we have the different national portals. At the larger EURAXESS at the European level, and the international one, EURAXESS Africa, EURAXESS North America, EURAXESS India, and China. So we provide immigration information to researchers in motion and the employers. So when you're moving, for instance, you're a researcher in Ireland and you want, after the PhD or after the postdoc, you want to move to Sweden to go and work in Sweden, a research job in Sweden. You can contact EURAXESS. You've gotten your offer there. We can link you up with our offices in Sweden. We can as well guide you on the best way and the best permissions to work in Sweden. Or you want to move to North America, we have contacts in North America, that's in Canada and in the US. If you want to move to the US to work there, or you want to go to China, you want to go to Africa, work in Africa, we have a bigger network. Then we also manage the hosting agreement scheme. The key here is managing the hosting agreement scheme. Dr. Magdalena Wisloka will talk much more about what the hosting agreement is, but just on the in summary, it's the scientific researcher work permit. It's one of the many work permits that you require in this country. So our email address is www.euraxess.ie. So when do we come in handy? Because it's very important to understand, like, how do we come in handy? So there are various stages that we come in handy. Most of you might be already here in Ireland, but you can pass this information to your colleagues who want to move to Ireland. So before you come to Ireland, we offer information on searching that job that you need actually to come to Ireland. And number two, applying your hosting agreement. And I will show you just in the next few minutes on how to navigate through our website and where these job opportunities are. Every day on our website, we have more than 10,000 opportunities. Sometimes if it has gone below, it's just 9,500 research opportunities in academia and out of academia across our networks. Then also the application of the hosting agreement, if you have any questions and all that, to guide you around that. Then also number two, when preparing to come to Ireland, we offer information, and I'm very glad I can see some names that are familiar that have used our services here when they've gotten their job and they don't know where to start from in terms of processing the visa, making travel arrangements, How do I settle in? So that is the next thing, like how to get accommodation. Is this, some people get accommodation and they come back to us and they ask us, is this really a reasonable price? Like yesterday, I was just helping a researcher who had gotten a room, a box room for 1,500 euros. And I know very well a box room for 1,500 euros, that is a ripoff. So I'll advise such researchers and tell them, look, that is not the right price for that accommodation, unless you're being, the box room is in the Hilton or or Radisson Blu. And then when transitioning to other immigration status and opportunities, so here is where most of you will be in. If you are in Ireland already, you're a PhD student, you will have to transition from stamp 2 maybe to stamp 1 and stamp 1G. Dr. Magdalena will talk about that. Then information on change to appropriate visas. We have had circumstances whereby PhD students, they are students, yes, and people have gotten jobs in industry and they're working as researchers and they're continuing to work on the stamp 2 or stamp 1G. So we are here also to advise you what is the best permission to work on after that. It's also important for us to tell you what we do not do so that you understand very well that as much as we give a lot of information and support to researchers, there are things we don't do. So number one, EURAXESS is not a recruitment agency. The only thing is that we manage this portal that has these jobs from institutions that are listed on the advertisement. Most of them will be universities in Ireland and universities across Europe. They have created, they have login credentials that allow them to actually access our service and upload jobs and advertise jobs. In fact, in some countries, it is mandatory that the institutions of higher learning have to advertise their faculty positions, their research positions on EURAXESS website. So we do not issue hosting agreement, but we only approve. Dr. Magdalena will talk about that. So the accredited institutions are the ones that offer hosting agreement, or they issue the agreements, because they make an application at the Department of Further and Higher Education, Research and Innovation and Science. Once they get the accreditation, what we do is we set them up. EURAXESS sets them up and EURAXESS manages the scheme on behalf of the department. So we can only approve or reject your agreement or query your agreement or advise on the agreement, but we cannot issue you the agreement. The offering and the issuing of the agreement is by the institution, whether a research institution in academia, maybe a university, or in industry, companies like IBM and BD and Bionic, they offer. Airfield Estates, you'll get a list of accredited organizations. So we do not offer accommodation to researchers. That's also another thing that you need to know. We can only offer you information about accommodation. How we wish we had links with the estate agents on, even temporarily offering accommodation for researchers. But the only thing we can do is advise you the same way I was advising this researcher. They come to us and say, I've gotten this accommodation. What do you think? A box room for 1,400, 1,500 euros, it's not reasonable. So we guide you on which websites you can go to and leads, like who can you ask about this? And if you're not sure, you can come back to us. So we have no influence on your immigration status, but Dr. Magdalena Wisloka will talk about the immigration status. So immigration decisions are dealt with the Department of Justice. That's immigration service delivery. And we only provide information on immigration issues based on specific cases, because every case is unique. Maybe you are trying to apply for your visa to come to Ireland and you're a bit stuck. So in as much as we might provide information and support in terms of what is the timeline, processing timelines and all that, we are not the ones who are issuing, because there has been an assumption that people write to us and ask us, my visa is delayed, when is it coming out? So that information is not with EURAXESS, it's with the Department of Justice. So what can you get on our website? I'll take you to a practical information, just like 5 minutes or 6 minutes or so. So number one, practical relocation information, research jobs and funding, news and events like these ones, and dedicated sections for fast-track work permit for researchers, and one-on-one assistance on web and social media handles. So that's our address. I'll take you to, you'll just let me know if you can see our website, so that, because sometimes it's very important. Can you confirm that you can see the website, Dr. Magdalena? Can you confirm? I've just
sorry, I needed to unmute myself. Yes, everything's
okay.
perfect.
Thank you very much. So I will, because I'm admin, I log out so that I can show you. The first thing and the most important thing is that this website is very resourceful. And what I'm showing you here is EURAXESS.ie. That is our national portal, the Irish national portal. But I'll also show you about the other national portals, so that when you're searching for this information, you want to move. We understand that maybe after the PhD, you want to move to work in Germany. You should be able to get information on Germany on the EURAXESS portal. You should be able to get that. Then as I continue the presentation, sorry, I forgot to say that you'll get a chance to ask questions at the end of the two presentations. What you'll do is that if you have a question, you can put in the chat, that's number one, or number two, you can lift up your virtual hand with the lifting up, then we can unmute you and you can ask the question. There is no, every question is valid. We'll respond to the best of our capability. So the first thing is that if you want to get up-to-date information about our services and jobs, and there are employers who have created credentials on our website, and equally there are researchers and prospective researchers who have created. The website has more than 5,000 users. That is the EURAXESS, the Irish EURAXESS website. So if you go to login, it will ask you. So for me, I already have login credentials, but it will ask you to create a new account. So you use your email, you type in your email, then you go to the next steps. Like it's quite simple. There's an option of you filling in your details, the kind of research you're engaged with, what level and all that, so that it can match you even with mentors. And if you're applying for a job, it becomes very easy for you. And if you apply, if you create an account on the Irish portal, the account is actually visible across all the networks. So when it comes to information, you can send emails to us. You can reach out to us through x.com, which is formerly Twitter. You can reach out to us through LinkedIn, and I'll show you the pages. But there's also another brilliant service that you can actually use. And this is just on our homepage. When you click here, you can click here to book a session with us, and that's a one-on-one session. For instance, when I click, you see what happens. And you can book a 15-minute session, because sometimes, sending emails back and forth, this is a lot of work. And sometimes you don't get responses in time, and we don't understand each other based on what you have written. So book a 15-minute session with us. It will be a one-on-one virtual on Zoom or on Teams, and you can select any stuff. So if you like my name, you can select mine. If you like Magdalena's name, you can select Dr. Magdalena. But all of us are experienced to assist you. So these services run on Wednesdays and Fridays between these hours, 11 a.m. and 12:45. These are the slots that are available. So feel free to book. So back to the website again. There is this section, and the section that most of you will be very interested in is under jobs and funding. So if you are searching for a job, you click on the search button. This one has been, when you use the Irish website, it takes you to the Irish jobs, the jobs that are active in Ireland. For instance, I just give you an example. There's a postdoc opportunity at University of Galway. There's another one at Maynooth, which is active, another one in UCD. But there'll be jobs in all, say, research assistant. And I can give you an example of a person who got a job through this website. That was me many years ago when I was in Kenya. I bumped into this website, and I searched, and I got my job, and that's how I moved to Ireland 4 years ago. So if you want jobs in other areas, you can just click that, remove that part, and you'll have, you see, 9,473 active jobs across Europe. That's in Primorska, University of Primorska. We have University of Valencia. So you'll get jobs both within the university and in industry. So you can filter by country here. So if your target is actually, for instance, let's say you are targeting, I'll give you like Luxembourg. or let's say Latvia, for instance, you should be able to filter, and you can even filter by disciplines. Yes, so in Latvia, you can see there are 6 jobs there. So that is how useful this tool can be. Then we have funding also. You can find funding because we understand that some of you are not only looking for jobs and all that. You also want to, in future, like I want to be a PI on my own project, and also doctoral training and all that. So, but also under information and assistance, we have a lot of information that sometimes you don't really need to come to us, but when you read through our website, you will get information on, like it's schooling for families, because some of us come to Ireland and we move with young families with children, banking information, like which banks can you use, how to get a bank account, accommodation. There's also on medical care, on health insurance, transport and travel in Ireland. And all these information portals will also have this information, this kind of information, social welfare, research in Ireland. But because this session was mostly, I know this is information that you can check later on, but I'll take you, for instance, here under employment permit. So for the non-EUs who are here, you'll get information about that, like in terms of what you need to get employed, and there's an FAQ here. How do you apply for a PPS number, for instance, because you need that for employment? What do I need to in order to get the PPS number? How long will it take? You have qualification. I'm looking to work. Where should I start from? For instance, you have information. What kind of CV? Where can I get help with my CV? Where can I begin looking for employment? So there'll be a list here of, like, for instance, websites where you can start with. And within academia, there is this very nice tool, universityvacancies.com, which will have a lot of research jobs, and this one that are being posted there every day in Ireland. So I mentioned about the hosting agreement, and Dr. Magdalena Wisloka will talk about this. And the reason why I'm just highlighting this is that some of these questions are already here about the scheme. So if you're a researcher, because I understand we also have employers in this session, today's session. So if you're a researcher, there's information, researcher information, and it will be frequently asked questions. And there are questions like, for instance, checking your eligibility on the scheme. Dr. Magdalena will talk about that, the eligibility, making sure that you're applying for the correct visa, entry visa, before you come in. And there's a lot of information. And every time you ask us a question, we add to the FAQ, so that somebody else, if they need that information about the scheme, they can get from us. Then just to give you a little bit of, faces, and you can see, like, these are some of the researchers that have, like Dr. Sujit, he's a Nepalese researcher. He works in UCD, a very nice guy. And you can see, him talking about how he used the website to find practical guidance for living and working in Ireland before coming, and also to building connections within his network. And, we have this Shabila. Shabila is a PhD student, and, she was looking for industrial placement, and it was a little bit difficult for her. But we helped her for his placement to be possible by, connecting her through our networks and the right people, and also helping her with the immigration information and support. And we have so many other people who have available services that they cannot fit in our website. So just before I go to the national portal, our offices are run by, we are not really, like, it's 2 of us, Dr. Magdalena, head by Dr. Magdalena Wisloka, and assisted by myself there. So you can as well click to have a chat with me, that is, if using the same service. So if you click Dr. Magdalena, it will book a session with you. You can select a session that you can book with Dr. Magdalena on a Wednesday or on a Thursday to ask any information relating to your life as a researcher in this country. So just beyond Ireland, I'm just being cautious of time. Beyond Ireland, we have our national portals here. That's important for you to also see. And you can see there's Albania, there's Belgium, there's Finland, there's Lithuania. But beyond that, we also have EURAXESS worldwide, where we have the Asian, we have EURAXESS Africa, India. So for instance, when you click on EURAXESS India as an example, you'll also get practical information on information and assistance on, India and the opportunities that are there in India, and for Indians to come and work in Europe. And I'll click another one, just another random one, so that you can see, and mostly outside, let's say North America. Let's go to New Zealand. So you can see it's just the portals are similar, but they are, when you go to, they are at the European Commission level. So that is the highest level they are hosted by the European Commission. So as I finalize, just a little bit of moving from. So that's what you can get on our website. But how do you administer our services? So you can email us through those email addresses there. You can visit our website. We have those 15 minutes virtual sessions. We have information and education communication materials that we give out. Very nice water bottles with flyers. And you can come to our offices at 48 Marion Square, but let us know when you're coming in, because we are not always there. Sometimes we are out in events. We go to make presentation in universities and in industry and in exhibitions and all that, like where we were in UCC. And Dr. Magdalena was in Munster this week, and will be in DCU this month. So this is our X account. No, this is our LinkedIn. So EURAXESS Ireland. And that is our X account at EURAXESS Ireland. And then beyond that, Dr. Magdalena will talk about Researchers Beyond Academia. That is another LinkedIn that we run, just to encourage researchers to look for opportunities outside of academia and beyond academia. If you want to move from academia to industry, or from industry to academia, there is also this kind of assistance and information that we give. So thank you very much. I'll pass it back to Dr. Magdalena Wisloka. You're on mute, Dr. Magdalena.
Yeah, this is the technology. So thank you very much, Ngoli. I think it was fantastic what Ngoli presented. Obviously, we don't have too much time here to give you too much. Also, our concentration is limited. So this is just to encourage you to use the resources yourself. The website is there. Just go and click and check what we have on offer. And we have loads of examples and of people who actually use the website, who use the services, and they got what they wanted, from jobs to various assistance services and help tailored to their needs. You need to be proactive in order to get what you want. So now let's. I hope everybody can see. Can see and hear me. Okay, Ngoli, can you see?
I can see you, but I cannot see the presentation. Kindly share.
Yeah, so it's, have you shared my presentation? Oh, share. Okay, now. Okay, sorry. Just, can you see it now?
Yes.
Very good. So let's start from the beginning. Okay, so welcome. That's my part now. We don't have too much time because, our session is limited, and also a little bit of the housekeeping rule. So online sessions are, always, this is an event which has its, framework. We start at 12 and we start at 11 and we finish at 12. So it's good to join at the beginning, not in the middle. And also for our booking, when you can speak to us live, Ngoli kindly mentioned that possibility. Always be sure that you are present there, because we join at the very time, and if nobody is there, we cannot wait forever. Our time is really precious, and this is really a unique opportunity to speak live with a person. Nowadays, everything is technology and artificial intelligence. You have chatbots, you have services based on the information present in the cloud, whatever, but we are live. And this is really precious and unique to be able to speak with us. So be sure when you book a session, be there. sharp at the time you wanted to speak to us. Always there is a problem with different times and time zones, so you need to take into account. Okay, so you know already where we are. Maybe I'm not sure if Ongol you mentioned it, but I think he mentioned actually. So we have a physical office which is under Marion on Marion Square, and we are part of Irish Universities Association. You can see here the logo, and EURAXESS is under your Universities Association umbrella. So you are also advised to look at IUA website to see what IUA is doing and how IUA is involved in the life on higher education institutions in Ireland. EURAXESS Ireland is linked to the ferries. This is the Department of Higher Education, Innovation and Science in Ireland. It's a relatively new institution. The minister is Simon Harris, but we have been here longer than the ferries itself. We started over 20 years ago, and at the beginning, the office was founded and was linked to the Department of Jobs, Enterprise and Innovation, now DETE. So we have our, base. We are founded by authorities in Ireland, and we are recognized as a very important service office in Ireland. What we are doing, we give free services. Everything is free. Nobody needs to pay, starting from researchers, finishing on companies. So we provide free advice to researchers, family members, also employers of the researchers, to make it easier for you to find your job. Visas, career, networking, and many, many more. Now the focus is on careers. It's not only the physical mobility through different countries, but it's also the mobility through your career. People are graduating at universities with masters, PhDs, but only a very, very small percentage is staying as researchers in the job, because there is no job in academia for everybody. Actually, the job in academia exists only for few people. Others have the skills. So use this time where you are here studying at universities, use the connections, use your network, and master your skills, and make sure you have the right skills for your future career, which will be for most of you outside academia, in industry, in business, in elsewhere. I am the example. I'm also my background is biology. I'm also a higher education teacher in university, but now I had a very big research career, and also I worked for business. I worked for industry in various countries. So, but now my main job is actually in the advice, in the administration of research and careers. So you can use your skills, and you can use your skills and carry them over to a different level, to a different place. And EURAXESS is aware of it. European Commission is aware of it, that this is the actual reality. And also what we have on our website, you can find a lot of information related to your skills. So you can check if you have right skills and what to do to master whatever, maybe communication skills, maybe something in relation to your background, or reskilling yourself. Everybody has their own career in your own hands. Okay, so this is generally, use the website not only for the immigration, but as Ongoli mentioned, we in Ireland are focused on people who are coming from various countries, because Ireland is, for some reason, very attractive. It's a very expensive country to live. It's not easy. But compared to the other countries, something is special about this country, that people are still coming. Part of the story might be the language, because we are still an English-based country. The English language is here, so this is the only country in the actually European Commission which operates English, because UK is not in EU anymore. So it will probably change in time, and more other European languages will be kind of taking over. But at the moment, this is English, and science is done by English. Science, publications, you communicate when you go to other universities. For example, to Austria, my daughter is a PhD student in Austria, and she doesn't need to know German. you know, because she's teaching through English. She's actually operating through English, and everybody is when she enters the room, everybody switches from German to English. So this is the power of this language at the moment. I don't know what will be the future of this, but we are here possibly for this reason and many other reasons. Ireland is very attractive. It is tough. It's a small country. Authorities are overwhelmed with the numbers of applications. This is an island, you know, so it's very difficult to get here through the terrain, through the borders on the ground. So it's maybe easier to manage to screen everybody very well. And but immigrants are coming. There are so many people every year coming here and trying to get a job. For example, I can say that by 2023, since January till now, 23,000 work permits were issued. 23,000 new work permits. You know, it's a lot, you know, compared to almost 600 hosting agreements. So the pool of hosting agreements is very, very small compared to the work permits which they issue. But it's a lot for such a country like Ireland, which also gives the priority of work to European people, you know, because this is in the regulations. First, Irish and European people, and then, you know, the EU, because this is the rule everywhere, you know. But anyway, there are permits, they are available, there are rules which need to be completed, fulfilled, and everybody from non-EU country can also get a job. But there are criteria in place, always criteria in place. I will talk about it if I have time a little bit later. So what we are doing, because of that, the nature of the country, which is still very welcoming, Ireland decided to make it easier for researchers to stay here, to pursue their career, because they are very much needed. You know, people from outside Ireland are needed. Their intelligence, the skills, there are jobs here which require high skill people, and obviously only European and Irish are not enough. You know, it's not maybe attractive country for European people because it's very, very expensive, and there are other reasons. So why this is it's still attractive to employ non-EUs. So researchers are very precious to Ireland. And we started that scheme in 2007. You know, Ireland decided to join. I will talk about it a little bit later, but just to tell you the numbers first. So we issued over 5,000 agreements to non-EU researchers from over 100 countries, different nationalities to date. And this year, 590 newcomers. Who can get it? Everybody. It doesn't matter which area of research. If you are working for university or industry, you can still apply. You can still qualify. But the very strong qualification criterion is employment. So this scheme is for employed positions, for employed researchers only. Only employed. You need to have the employment contract in hand, paying taxes, have all these things which are related to an employee. If you have other work arrangement, like visiting researcher, whatever, you cannot get it. It can be part-time. Doesn't matter, but there are criteria in relation to the salary. And also not everybody can employ you on this. It has to be accredited institution, but I will come to that later. But this is just a link which it links you directly to the information on the hosting agreement. Just a little comment. The information about the scheme, very comprehensive information. The only website which gives you most comprehensive information about the hosting agreement scheme is actually EURAXESS Ireland, because we are managing it. We are doing it on behalf of the Department of Higher Education. And you can see something on Inish website, immigration website, but the information will be more towards visas and permissions and stamps. On the Ferries website, you can see also hosting agreement information more for the institutions who want to get accreditation or who want to renew the accreditation. So the most comprehensive website, actually collating everything together, is EURAXESS website. You cannot find it elsewhere. we are trying to get to other services like in Ireland, like citizen information, to also place information about EURAXESS. We are also making sure your immigration has the right and correct mentions about the scheme, and there are many different names. You can find it as scientific visa scheme because this was the first kind of nickname for it. So this scheme is known as a scientific visa scheme, hosting agreement scheme, work permit for R&D, fast track work permit for. It's a lot of different nicknames, but most popular is hosting agreement because this is what it is. It's actually not a permit, it's an agreement between yourself and your company. So just to show you, visualizations always work the best. This is little, the yellow dot is Ireland, you know, and this is the whole world. Everybody from red and blue parts of the world need visas or permissions to enter the island. So blue countries need permits to work, yeah, but they don't need visas. You know, it's maybe different admits can be applied. And red countries need visas to enter and permits to work. Only this part of the world needs nothing to come to Ireland. They can work as in their own country, because this is Europe. Europe is divided into countries, national countries, very strong national countries. And immigration law and other regulations are very different. Whenever you travel to France, to Spain, to Portugal, to Italy, you know, to Poland, which is my native country, to Scandinavia, you can find completely different rules, completely different. And this is EU, so we have something in common, but don't expect the same immigration rules, the same visas, permissions, because they vary very much. So that's why we have EURAXESS, and EURAXESS is very important because our friends in France will give you information about the situation in France, how to get what you need to do, you know, what is the visa like and what permission you need. I have no idea. I have a little bit of idea, but sometimes when people go to Belgium or somewhere, we have cases all the time like this, and companies, institutions are asking us what to do. Our employee needs to go and he has agreement from Ireland. Can it be used in other countries? No, it can't. They have their own rules, and to be honest with you, the rules are much more complicated generally compared to Ireland. We are really easy, especially with the hosting agreement scheme. It's a very unique service. I don't think there any other country in Europe has such a swift, you know, and simple service for researchers. You know, it's much more complicated everywhere. But anyway, you see, Ireland has to actually face all the countries, newcomers, and it has the regulations, either visas or work permits. And there is only one Irish immigration service with limited number of officers and workers, and sometimes the things take really long time. Visas, you know, you need to queue to get your permission, your stamp, etc. But you know, this is a small country and the whole world wants to come here. Okay, so you know it very well. This is the immigration permission. This is fake. It doesn't exist. But here, when you are coming to work, you need to show it. You need to show it to employer, and you need to show the stamp. This is, you know, 1G, and it says permission to work. So your employer knows straight away that they can employ you. You have the variations of stamp 1. Like generally, stamp 1 gives you permission to work. If you have stamp 2 and they see stamp 2, they will see student, and they know the person can work only part-time. But this is very precious, and employees are aware, and this is what they need to see in order to employ you legally. So now a little bit about this scheme. So I already mentioned it to you, but just a little bit of background. This is based on directive from European Commission. So European Commission decided at the beginning on 2000s to make Europe attractive to researchers versus America, because America is seeing for the best minds, they have power, they have money, and most Nobel Prize winners are from there. So the best European scientists actually go to America, and Europe wanted to be competitive, and they decided we cannot do it without great minds from outside EU. So this is a complicated system, but there is something like a pillar one, which under that pillar, they say that they need a flow of competent researchers between institutions and disciplines from various countries, and they wanted to make it easier for people from abroad, for foreigners to come to Europe. And Europe, as you know, an island is a slightly different country. It's an island on the side of the Europe, and it's also not in Schengen, so you cannot travel freely between island and other parts of Europe. So Ireland didn't need, it was not obligatory for Ireland to sign for hosting agreement, but Ireland decided to do it. And so they decided to adopt hosting agreement voluntary. They say, we want to do it, and they decided to do it their own way. So Ireland can do whatever they want with the hosting agreement scheme. They can adapt it, they can make it for their own kind of political situation or whatever. So they decided that the people on hosting agreements have to be well educated, with masters, PhD, sometimes with bachelor degree, and they will need to work in research related area of any institution. It can be university, but can be also industry, and they will not require a separate work permit. So hosting agreements are never going through Department of Work Permits. They go only through your employer. So your employer is giving it to you through the system which we have in place, and we control everything. So Ireland is a processing house. We actually control employers, and we control hosting agreements, contracts, and everything to make sure everything is correct. And the system can be also accessed by the ferries, which is actually owning the scheme. They process it, they have it. The ferries is responsible for the hosting agreement scheme and for giving accreditations, which is licensed to your employers. Which company, if company is interested into hiring a person from India, America, Australia, where from outside, they can ask the ferries, can we do it? And they check if they are eligible. If they do, if everything is correct, they give them license, everything for free. So there is absolutely no fee involved to make it simpler. So now we operate it. We have always been doing it since the beginning of the scheme. That's why it's so easy and smooth. We have a long tradition of very good relations with the rights authorities, which are key, including immigration and GNIB. Because we don't have much time, we link a lot of things here. This presentation has a lot of live links. Just generally, you can find all this information on EURAXESS website, but just to let you know that you must have employment a contract in place for at least 91 days. This is very unique because normally work permit wants 1 year or 2, but here you can start from 91 days. Salary level is very small. Its minimum starts from 23 if you are on your own, and if you have a family, it can be one wife and 5 kids, husband and 1 child. It's still 30,000. So it's not means tested, and there is a big danger here, because it's not possible to survive in this country with family on 30,000, because if you want to rent something, unless you have, somebody and you have house, whatever, this is really impractical. So everybody needs to be aware. You are already here, but if you have friends who wants to come, if they get job offer from somewhere, they need to be smart. First, see what are the living needs and expenses in Ireland. Is it enough? You cannot access the services, the social welfare immediately. It needs to be 2 years. It's for everybody. Even if Irish person is abroad for a long period of time and comes back here, still cannot access the social welfare. You have to be here 2 years. I know Irish people who were abroad for a couple of years, 10 years or something. They come back and they have no access to social welfare. This is the system here. It's absolutely not possible. So you cannot count on it, and you need to be really smart. It's impossible. You need to have, this is the reality. So you have the websites, the ferries, EURAXESS, and also ISD. This is the immigration website. When you first of all, if somebody is abroad, you are here, but maybe you want to know, first of all, you need to check if you need visa. Visa is different from work permit and from hosting agreement, because hosting agreement or other work permit is required for everybody from outside EU. Visas not for everybody. Some countries are exempt from visas to come in here. Where to find information? You know, as I mentioned to you before, here this is employment scientific researchers on Inish website, and this section is only for hosting agreement people. Scientific researcher for immigration is a hosting agreement person. Not, you know, if you are a scientific researcher doing currently PhD, you are a scientific researcher coming here to on another work arrangement like stamp 0 or a typical working scheme, you are not you cannot, it's not, this section is not for you. This section is only for hosting agreement people. This is why we have different nicknames. Here is the list of accredited institutions. If you click on that link, it will lead you to the accredited institutions. It's owned by the Department of Higher Education, but that's here. And you can, that's actually wrong because this is data, but that link is right, and you will see the list, but the list can be always amended because accreditation can be actually acquired by the institution before you start working for them. Sometimes it works like this: they need a person from outside EU, they have no accreditation, they apply for accreditation, and then they get a person. They don't need to have it straight away. And here, who is coming here? You see, most people currently on hosting agreements are from Asia, India, Iran. You know, that's the less from China, but also we have Pakistan. We have 30% Nigerians, and many other nationalities. And people work in various sectors. Most are get employment in engineering, science, technology, also in medicine, health, and psychology. It's very encouraging to see people working in art and humanities like history, religion, you know, literature. Very good. There is job for people from outside EU in that sector, and also for European people. So there is money not only for STEM. Science. Here I provided for you, because we don't have too much time, but you can see the comparison between different work permits. So when you graduate, the first thing for you can have a third level graduate scheme. You are allowed to stay here for 12 months or 24 if you have PhD or master's, so level 9 award. Yes, and but this is only, the time is very precious for you to find one of these: general critical scheme work permit, or this is or hosting agreement. So you cannot stay for third level graduation scheme forever. This is only to give you a job without a permit and time for finding a work for which you can get a work permit. And you see the qualification criteria here. Hosting agreement is not a work permit, but this is a permission to work and stay for researchers, you know, in industry and academia. And there is no, you know, what is very important here, there is no labor market need test, which is required for other workplaces. You need to be aware, you know, that employers cannot get people from outside EU straight away. They need to advertise the position first. It's a very complicated process, and they need to make sure there is no European person for this job before they offer the job to non-EU person. These are the rules for general critical skill work permit, and the variation of the skill work permit, which is for actually all jobs, but you need to be on higher salary. Everything is here. You can see the critical skill occupation list, which is also very practical to know. If I plan to work here, is my job on the critical skill occupation list? So then you check, you know, And this is very good. General work permit actually encompasses a lot of other jobs, a lot of jobs. So it's good resource to have a look and check the data website, work permit website. So you also, some people here in these categories have rights for immediate family reunification, but it is very, very, this is the vocabulary which immigration uses. What immediate means? Immediate is not immediate at all. It means that people can they are called sponsors. For example, on general work permit, they must wait 12 months to come to Ireland, and they have no right to work, the dependents. So this is not immediate, because the employer must work 12 months. They cannot apply for, the wife or the husband of this guy who has a general work permit. The family cannot apply for the work permit now. They need to wait 12 months. So this is not immediate. This is immediate. Immediate is for critical skill and also for hosting agreements, because they can start immigration process. They can start applying immediately. They don't need to wait 12 months. And this is immediate. But sometimes visa for families can take a year. Now it's 6 months, 8 months is standard. It is standard. And there are big, big queues. And, family visas are not critical. You need to understand the immigration. What they want is the workforce, minds, people working, and their families are less important. They are very important. They are aware, but this is huge work. So it takes time, and you need to be patient. Okay. So just finishing up, what is important for everybody's registration. They divide it into Dublin region and outside Dublin area. There are different rules. So for outside Dublin, everything is in person. First time, second time you come, and you need to produce your original documentation. You have local Garda station, and this is GNIB. In Dublin, registration are in hands of ISD, not in GNIB, ISD. And next time you have everything online. And still, I have heard about very big queues, but you need to be very aware. My permission is coming to the end. You can start your application. I think this is 12 weeks before the expiry day. You need to apply earlier, because the queue is enormous, and people can stay without a stamp. Obviously, this is not the end of the world, because if you are in the system and you need to provide proof for the guards, for the immigration, that you applied, you tried to apply before the expiry day of your stamp. But if you do it afterwards, you might be in trouble. So you need to you need to try to apply before your stamp expires. You might wait very long time, but you are in the system, and they will understand it. They are taking a reasonable approach. This system is not good. There are too many people. They are understaffed, and people are waiting. Especially if you are traveling, you need to make sure you are watching your business. And third level graduate scheme, you probably here is all the information is very well. Information is very good on the website. If you graduate, you will know what to do. You need to be you need to copy of your award, your passport, medical insurance is necessary, and you must pay your money. But the registration and how to do it, what is the process like, you have everything explained on the website. The fee is always immigration fees for everybody. Everybody has to pay it, unless somebody is a refugee and there are other things. Here, because we don't have too much time, but what is good to watch on ISD website, which is good but still confusing, still not perfect, and sometimes you cannot find what you want. So it's good to watch news and updates, because they have a lot of good information here, and frequently asked questions as well might have an answer for you. Here's registration renewals, visas for scientific researchers. So what is the visa for a scientific researcher? This is the visa for a person on a hosting agreement who is not here. So not for you, who are connecting with us from Ireland. You already have your visa to come to Ireland, because visa and permission and work permit are completely different things. Visa to enter is not for everybody. Permission to work is for all. You know, everybody from outside Ireland cannot work here without a permission. There are many permissions, and hosting agreement is one of these. There are other, not everybody can avail of hosting agreement scheme. There are people who are not employed, that are beyond the minimum salary required, that there is still for them possibility to come and work. So they are called visiting academics, not on hosting agreements, and this is the information what they need to do. Here I provided immigration stamp clarification, what you can do, having different stamps, graduate program, and always, you know, contact ISD. They provide a lot of emails under which you can actually get them to have your problem resolved. Sometimes you need to be really patient, but you should get the reply. And employment permit, this website lists all employment permits managed by DETE. Hosting agreement is not by DETE, you know. First level graduate scheme is not under DETE. Permits for visiting academies are not under DETE. Only employment permits. You know, this is sometimes confusing because Ireland has various authorities managing different things. You know, kind of same but different. Hosting agreements is with EURAXESS and the ferries. You know, graduates visas are in ISD. Work permits are with work permits. You know, so that's you know, the website will be of help. So I think this is all. I know we are running out of time, so we have room for a few questions. So Ongoli, I stop sharing now, and we will see what we can do with the questions we probably got already. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Magdalena Wisloka. So I will give a chance, let's say maybe we'll just go for another 8 minutes maximum so that we don't go for long. If there is any question, just lift up your hand, but I'll read through some of the questions that are in the chat so that everybody can get an opportunity to hear the response. So what kind of part-time researcher jobs can we PhD student apply for? I saw on the website, the lowest level is postdoc 1 position, defined as early stage researchers, either just after completion of PhD or for someone entering a new area of the first time. And many of the postdoc 1 jobs are postdoctoral positions.
I hope you can get this question, Ongoli.
Yeah, I think that one, it's simple, you know, like this is a very academic criteria where, you know, after the PhD, you become a postdoc or so. But even after the PhD, you can apply for a research assistant position. So the IUA has defined salary scales based on your academic and your work experience that you'll be paid. If you go to the IUA website, there are these salary scales. So you can see how much you'll be paid as a research assistant. So it doesn't mean that you have to be a postdoc. From PhD in academia, yes, the route is through postdoc, but there are so many other research jobs that you can do outside academia with a PhD or even before you finish your PhD. And there is a question, can we have a copy of the presentation? Yes, sure, we'll send it via email to you because it has live links that will be helpful to you. You can as well, we'll actually send a link to you where you can get the presentation on our website. There's another question about some EU countries have a blue card system that allows you to work in different EU countries. Is there something similar in Ireland? Dr. Magdalena Wisloka?
Okay, so this links to my explanation of Ireland not being a Schengen country. Schengen, there is a Schengen zone in EU, which lists and joins together 20-something countries. And the Schengen, the purpose of this is a possibility of moving freely. If you have a Schengen visa, for example, for France, you can go without a visa on this visa, using the France visa, to Spain, to Poland, to Germany. Now, political situations are a little bit tricky, and there will be a border control, and you can from time to time. But and this is the same with the work. If you have permission to work in France, you can carry this permission with you to other country. There is some administration involved, and you can work based on this in other country. Ireland doesn't have it. This is very big drawback. We try to do something about it. This is strong Irish system. Only permission permissions issued in Ireland are valid in Ireland. If you have a permission to work, whatever kind, blue card, whatever, issued in another country, is for nothing in Ireland. Ireland will not respect it. Immigration is, where is your work permit? Where is your hosting agreement? Where is another thing? They only respect their own permits. That's the very... that's why I don't want to go to too much details, but that's why Ireland didn't adopt the next directive of 2016 for admission of students, au pairs, experts, trainees for the purpose of progressing careers in Europe. They said no to that directive, and we are still based on the directive from 2004 for admission of researchers to Ireland, to which we have the hosting agreement link. They see hosting agreement is still good. We want it. We find it practical. Let's keep it. But they can change their mind anytime and decided not to adopt the next directive. So, being in EU doesn't mean that you have to follow all the rules. Sorry, it may be too much, but unfortunately not. The blue card is not working here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Magdalena.
And maybe I want to add a little bit, about these jobs for PhDs. Also remember that for third-level graduate scheme, you need to have a job which is not a whatever job. Your job for the third-level graduate scheme must link to your qualifications. So, for example, if you're an engineer or medical whatever graduate, you need to show to the immigration that your job is in that area. It is not for everyone. It cannot be a job in a shop, coffee shop. Yeah. And you need to keep it kind of professional phase of your career. So whenever you are doing whatever, for money is good to do whatever, but always have in mind trying to find something which links to your qualifications and to your profile of your research. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The key is that Ireland is not in the Schengen region,
Yeah.
so things might not apply. So another question, can one move from stamp 2 to stamp 1? Yes, they can, instead of stamp 1G. So Dr. Magdalena, what are the advantages of moving direct from stamp 2 to stamp 1 instead of 1G?
Obviously, big advantages, because 1G, which is linked to third graduate, this is the time for you to work without a permit to actually find normal stamp 1. So going directly to stamp 1 is skipping that, waiting period, absolutely. Always the best advice for everybody is to try to find a job which qualifies you for work permit. Critical school and work permit, normal general work permit, hosting agreement. You don't need to go on 1G third level doing your things without a permit, because it's better to jump immediately to stamp 1. What are the advantages? So obviously you don't have the stress because you are on stamp 1 already. And 1G and stamp 1 are also accountable towards reckonable for your long-term residency and for your future nationality. So this is very good about both stamps. On stamp 1, if you have a work permit, after 12 months, you can invite your family. On stamp 1, linked to your critical skill work permit or hosting agreement, you can start inviting your family immediately. On 1G, no, unless you have good salary, because this is not immediate family reunification. So it's better. The conclusion is better to have work permit straight away and stamp 1 rather than stamp 1G, which is only for 24 months, never renewable. They will never renew it for you. 12 months and another 12 months, and that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Another advantage is that on stamp 1, if you're on the hosting agreement or critical skills employment permit, is that after 24 months, you can get stamp 4. And the freedom that stamp 4 can give you in this country. You can work without the requirement of a work permit. You can engage in business, and you have access to a lot of things. Like, for instance, recently there was just a webinar on public jobs. You can even get jobs in the public sector. So another question, if a current PhD student starts a research assistant role, does that get them hosting agreement? Will that also get them a work permit while on stamp 2? I will say yes, because I was a research assistant at some point, and I was on the hosting agreement. So if you are doing a PhD, then you get an RA position. Dr. Magdalena highlighted the minimum criteria in terms of the salaries. That is, if you have an annual pay of 23,181, she said it doesn't have to be a full-time job. It might be part-time. It might be that 20 hours yet, but the salary threshold gets to that. So make sure that you email us or you reach out to us so that we can discuss your situation. Sometimes it's very confusing about this. We'll give you very personalized information. Then number 2, if transitioning from the hosting agreement stamp 1 to stamp 4, can I legally work in other EU countries? No, you can't. If you get an area position in an accredited institution, you qualified to get the hosting. That one, it was a response from me. I'm a postdoc under hosting agreement. How long will I be eligible to stay in Ireland after my hosting agreement expires? If is there any temporary job seeking visa type I can apply? Thank you. So I'll respond to one, then Dr. Magdalena will respond. So number 1, most postdocs are 2 years. After the 2 years, you'll have qualified to get stamp 4. With stamp 4, you don't need to show that you have a job, but you need to show, for you to get that stamp 4, you need to show that you have the willingness to stay in Ireland. And number 2, you have to show that you are actually actively looking for a job. Then Dr. Magdalena, if the contract is below 2 years, what happens?
If the contract is below 2 years,
and it has ended.
Yeah. The first thing is for you, the job to, you need to explain to your employer. For me, it's critical to have my job for 24 months. They don't understand on many occasions how important it is for you. And sometimes it's really easy. So you just go and say, listen, I need to have another 3 months or 2 months. This is critical. And you do it yourself because they don't understand it sometimes. Second, if you finish it and you are missing a couple of months, go and find another job, because you can have many agreements. One from UCD, the other one from IBM, the third one from whatever, doesn't matter how many. So you can jump from job to job. This is really flexible. And you can have 3, 5, 6 hosting agreements and to qualify for your stamp 4. If you are not sometimes you are not lucky and your job finishes and that's it, you have a grace period. You don't need to leave immediately, but you always need to go to immigration and explain it to them. I need extension. A couple of months of extension is not a problem for them, but you need to be you need to explain that you are actively looking for a job qualifying you for permission to work. But think, the research positions are short, so this is the danger. I have my research position now, and at the same time, you are starting looking for another job or another extension, or talk to your current employer to actually collect 24 months, and they need to understand that. So that's it. You know, if you have sometimes people are unlucky, they have nothing, but you always need to go and see immigration. Go and say, oh my God, I need another extension. Sorry, I have my job interview. I have a chance, and they will extend your stamp. I don't know for how long, but everything is case by case.
Yeah, actually, that was the key. The most important thing is that you are not required to leave Ireland immediately, but immigration situations are normally handled on a case-by-case basis. I've seen even people who have really solved their bigger problems than what you are talking about. So what are the likely, they have 9 questions, then we finish. What are the likely situation of employment that a BA or MA holder can be allowed to work in Ireland under hosting agreement? So I respond that when I started working in Ireland, I had an MA in anthropology under the hosting agreement. For BA, Dr. Magdalena, I think there's a mix of experience, and they need to show that they can qualify for doctoral research, right?
Yeah, so I respond to this. So in the qualification of criteria for hosting agreements, we have a definition who is eligible. Eligible is a researcher who is has a PhD or is on the direct track towards PhD. So a person with master's has open road towards PhD. There is absolutely no problem. Even you can skip master's level and you can go directly to PhD in Ireland. With bachelor degree, it depends on the job description. If a person is qualified, your employer wants you. We have currently a lot of people with bachelor degree on hosting agreements. So it is possible, because if you are successful in finding a research job you pass the the interview and everything, it means that you are special, and you you have bachelor, but it's absolutely not a problem for you to pursue PhD in future potentially, but you don't need to have it. So everything is, Ireland is really specific. A lot of things are done case by case here. Guidelines. You remember, these are only what you see, the stamps, all these stories. These are immigration guidelines. This is not law. Your law is in court. Here's our immigration guidelines, and we need to operate within the immigration guidelines, but at the same time, case by case scenarios are play very important role in defining person's immigration status here.
Okay, another question to you, Dr. Magdalena.
Yeah?
Are there plans to extend the hosting agreement to the PhD students funded by SFI in the near future? I believe this is just all PhD students. What can you say?
Yeah. Always, since the beginning of this, we are fighting, but plans. To be honest with you, I don't think so. The only PhD students who have that are employed. So there is a certain number of PhDs with employment contracts or Marie Curie positions offer employment for PhD. So if you have employed, you have it. We have tried to talk to immigration about it, but personally, I don't think there is a chance of changing it in near future. Currently taking current situation into account, this is and will be for employment-based positions. What they can do, they can make PhD people, immigration rights a little bit better, but I don't know in which direction. But they will be modifying PhD rights rather than adding them under hosting agreement. Hosting agreement will stay as it is. This is my opinion, and I think we are trying. It doesn't mean that we are not trying. We always say it should be something done in this, but don't count it will happen this year, next year, or in the very near future.
Thank you very much. I think the key here is ourselves, Dr. Magdalena and myself, we have done the advocacy, but there's only much that EURAXESS can do. There are other policies, like immigration policies are by the Department of Justice, other policies by the department, at the department level. So as much as we advocate for that, and we're really passionate about supporting researchers from both in the EU and outside the EU, and any requests that come through us, we have done that, and we have tried to push for this. So, but at the decision level, like immigration issues are very political issues, Dr. Magdalena, you can agree. So if it's not changed at that national level, it's changing an immigration policy. So it's maybe sometimes it's important to self-advocate as a non-EU PhDs, so that at that level, at the department level. So we will share the recording. There was something about that. There is somebody who asked if we are going to share the recording. Then the last question. So if you are on hosting agreement, you get stamp 1. Is this current? Yes, you get stamp 1.
Yes.
I am a PhD student and I have Walsh funding for 3 years. If I submit thesis in these 3 years and do not get degree, can I start looking for a job, Dr. Magdalena?
Welsh stipend, yes?
Yes, Walsh funding, yeah.
But the person is already here. Yeah, so you always can look for a job in Ireland. Yeah, no, everybody can look for a job in Ireland. Yeah, so it depends on your immigration stamp at the moment. So if you want, we probably need more information. So please send your question by email to us. Yeah, because we need more. We need more to see what's what the answer is.
Exactly. And on top of that, what I can also add is that, when you're doing your PhD, you already have a bachelor's degree, you already have a master's degree, maybe. Those are qualifications that if you want to look for employment in this country, you can get. I'm a living example of a person who is employed by EURAXESS. I work with Magda, and I'm also a PhD student. I did not have to finish my PhD for me to get employed with EURAXESS. So you have to be also proactive to look for other positions, because even your 20 hours of the PhD allows you to work. So it doesn't mean that you have to take up jobs in industries that are not within your qualification. You can as well take up roles that you qualify.
Yeah, and yeah, sorry. Yeah, so just to sum up, maybe you need to be proactive, and you just it's very practical and good just to play a little bit a role of your employer. Try to look at the things from the perspective of your employer. If you are employer, who would I would like to work with? Who is the person? The person must be reliable, must be it must actually show the enthusiasm, show the understanding. When you are applying for a job, you need to make a very good research what the company is doing. Yeah, I want to work to do something. No, you need to show to them the way you need to work for them. You really want that particular job, because as an employer, I want to have a reliable, a good, person. I work, if I am very happy if somebody who is working for you is doing the job for me, and I don't have that stress that the job is not done. So try to look at from this perspective and present yourself, because there are jobs here, there are jobs in Ireland, but the people are looking for for reliable, good employees who are enthusiastic, who really know what they want to do. Yeah, so obviously we'll share the presentations with you. I just realized that I would like to add something to my slides before we send it. I believe we can send it to the people's addresses, or how we can make it available.
Yeah, we can make it available on our website. We can send it through their emails, because we have their emails when they were registering. And as we finalize the sessions, kindly go to menti.com. There's another question here, so that we know like what information you'll need to get to know in the future. You can fill in the Menti thing right now. So that is use the code 7398446. So there's already one response there. Sessions such as this today are very helpful, so we could have a few more and perhaps focus on specific areas. There was so much information in 1 hour. Thank you. So feel free to put the Menti. If you want in-person sessions, we can as well organize in-person sessions for you. As you know, there's an African saying that says a meeting without food should have been a Zoom. So we just found very good food suppliers and very nice venues. Dr. Magdalena, if she's very willing to organize in-person events, we'll be in DCU. We can as well invite you to our own venues. And I return to you to close the sessions, Dr. Magdalena.
Thank you so much, Ongoli. Almost Dr. Ongoli. Yeah, I agree on the food. I am the person who loves in-person meetings. I am the old generation. I'm not artificial intelligence. I hope I am a physical intelligence at least. So food is very important. Networking is important. So I hope to see you in the real world, in near future. Thank you so much for joining us today. And as I mentioned, we will email to your presentations. I need to add something to mine because I lost one important slide as I was revising yesterday. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.